Hello world, I'm Twist, and welcome back to Raw Recap and Review. This is part 2 from January 12th, 2026 episode in Dusseldorf, Germany. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, get off of this video. Click the top right there so you can see part 1. Okay? Now, if you have seen part 1, welcome back. I'm Twist, Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, what I'm saying? But now let's get into what's happening on part 2 of this episode. We get a vignette backstage with Becky Lynch basically saying, Maxine gets a rematch, after she struggled to after she struggled 2 months to get a rematch from Maxine. Maxine gets a rematch instantly, and that's how it's not fair, but she wants to prove that she's the best rest of all time, and she can't wait to do it in her hometown, home country of Ireland, fighting in Belfast. So that means she's going to be also competing on next week's episode of in Belfast. So that's pretty cool. Then that leads to an Alpha Academy segment interview, with Maxine, Otis, and Tazawa. And Maxine says she's disappointed, but she proved like she belongs to be here, winning that belt, and she thinks she really believes in that Otis and Tozawa, that they belong there to wrestle too, and that she's very firm, she's very confident that it's a setback, not a defeat. And she says, even though Becky is one of the best of all time, she still had to cheat in order to beat her. So she said she's gonna, and funnily enough, she ends it with, she's gonna win next week, and she's going to break her ankle. Which killed me the way she said that. And we have another interview segment. I love how these part twos just start with just straight yapping. We get into another segment with Raquel Rodriguez being interviewed by Michael Cole. Interesting enough, near the stage, and Michael Cole is saying to Raquel, I saw your journey from NXT, and how nice you were, and how this and that, and now and he was very shocked that she did that attack on Stephanie Vaquer like that, and then Raquel was like, you're right, Cole, you have seen me like this, but people change, and I'm not gonna stop until I get my rematch for the belt against Stephanie. She's gonna do everything in her way to get the belt off of Stephanie. And she goes on to say, like, when I got hold out of my match, y'all didn't feel sorry for me, but y'all feel sorry for Stephanie. She said, okay, when I get my belt back, then y'all can feel sorry for Stephanie, because y'all gonna have a reason to feel bad for her because she lost her belt. And then Stephanie popped out, and she got the walking boot on, and she limping, and it's referees and the security, they trying to hold them back, Raquel laughing, walk past her, let her go, and then but Stephanie the champ, she got an aura for her. She looked dead in the camera. She speaking Spanish, and then she go in English, Raquel, come get it, and then Raquel came and got it. She whooped her, beat her down. She took her belt and then smacked her leg with the belt. They get Raquel back, but then we have Stephanie I ain't gonna lie, Stephanie looks dumb. Like, why would you pop out? You just keep ruining your own leg. So Raquel might win if they fight again, because I ain't gonna lie, either they trying to make Stephanie like one of the coldest women ever, or they just trying to have her lose and have her still kind of look strong because she was hurt when she lost. So I don't know. This is like the second to last talking thing that happens after that. We get the Alpha Academy running into the Usos, and they're challenging for the titles. And so Jay's like, I'm friends with y'all, man. I don't really want to fight with y'all, but like, this is real. Like, if y'all really want to fight, we gonna and they ready. They want to fight. So he said, I'm gonna talk to Jimmy. We gonna get back to y'all. Now we're back into the wrestling of things. We have the Vision, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed versus Dragon Lee and Penta. They having this match because they had the whole fight last week, and we start off the match with Theory and Penta. They get into a tie-up. Theory getting Irish whipped, and he goes for the usually in Irish whips they usually jump over their opponent to keep going to the other side, or they drop down. And this time Theory drops down, and then Penta does his little strut, little walk on top of Theory, just aura farming on him. Then slaps Theory and then hits him with a big Hurricanrana. After the Hurricanrana lands a big reverse sling blade. But Penta is geeked. He's aura farming. So Theory gets him with a big kick in return. Then tags Bronson Reed in. He tries to go for a corner splash on Penta, but Penta gets out the way, tags in Dragon Lee. They both land multiple kicks to Bronson Reed. on the corner in the middle of the ring, and Dragon Lee knocks Bronson Reed down, goes for the pin. Don't even get a 1 count because Bronson Reed just does the push kick out of him. Bronson does gets over to the corner, so Dragon Lee hits him with a big boot into the corner, and then gets on the top rope, tries to go for a crossbody. Obviously, that gets caught. He a little man compared to Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed then military presses Dragon Lee, throws him into the corner where Theory is. That leads to Lee getting outside the ring, and then Austin Theory drops down from the apron and lands Lee with a big punch. And that's how we get to our commercial break. We get back from our commercial break with Bronson Reed grabbing Dragon Lee and actually choking him on the ropes. And then Theory, with an assist, hits him with a big knee on the outside. After that tag team move, we get another tag team move with Bronson tagging in Theory. He holds him in a Samoan drop sequence. Theory does his little roll inside the ring, kick right into a Samoan drop. Then Dragon Lee tries to get his comeback in. Bronson Reed tries to suplex Dragon Lee with a reverse. He reverses out of that, hits Theory, hits his big super kick on Reed, tries to run attack to Bronson, but Bronson hits with a big clothesline. Bronson trying to get more momentum, tries to pick up the lead, goes for the power bomb, but during the power bomb, Dragon Lee reverses out of it, lands with a big DDT. You know what that means? It's time for the hot tag. We get the hot tag. Penta storming in the ring, big clotheslines. And he has a segment where he reverses Theory in the corner, hands it with a big backstabber, leads it to a 1-2. We get a kick out of that one. And that leads to Penta hitting a super kick, tags in Dragon Lee to now hit super kicks on everybody. They hit super kicks on Theory, they hit super kicks on Reed, they hit super kicks on Logan Paul on the outside. The super kicks have them retreat to the outside, which leads to Dragon Lee doing a big front flip to Logan Paul and Austin Theory on the outside. And as Dragon Lee is hyped up, he's geeked. Braun Breaker lands one of the coldest spears I've ever seen in my lifetime. Just boom on a Dragon Lee, and that's a DQ. So the match before it was finished, I give it about a 3.5. It was pretty cool, but before the interference, it was cool. But yeah, Braun gets in the ring, then lands a big spear on Penta, and then as Braun he's tweaking again. He does the little slide out the ring, trying to do the run around spear on a Dragon Lee on the barricade, but Adam Pearce has had enough. He pops up, yelling in his face. He's like, "Hey man, I need you to stop. I'm getting tired of this." But as they're talking in the background, Bronson Reed does a tsunami Penta. And then Pearce is like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta stop." He gets in the ring. He's yelling at everybody, telling them to stop. And he actually puts his hands on Braun Breaker after he spears Dragon Lee in the ring. And he's like, "I'm sick and tired of your shit." He pulls him off, and then they're talking, and then Braun tweaks out and then starts grabbing Adam Pearce in the corner. And then the Vision try to stop him up. They try to get him off. They get him off him. They push him back. They're saying stop. They saying stop. They stop. Pearce is angry. He's yelling at them. He's super into it. At least them all the way walking to the back. And then Pearce is yelling at Braun. He said, hey, stop. Hey, stop. So, he said, and then Pearce is like, "Okay, you don't want to listen. You know what? You're suspended indefinitely." Walks away. And then Paul goes to him and said, "Yeah, that was probably one of the worst mistakes you made." He said, "I bet it was." Braun Breaker said, "No, I'm not talking about Braun." He said, "I'm talking about you. You suspended Braun, but you touched him first." And then Pierce low-key thinking like, "Damn, I did touch him first." So I'm pretty sure that suspension is not going to be lasting pretty long after that. But overall, the match was enjoyable. It looked like it was kicking in a high gear. But, of course, I guess we have to keep everyone looking strong by not losing. And after that, we get into the main event of the evening. We have AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, versus Gunther. And we get right into the match with a tie-up, and AJ gets straight to it, lands an instant kick to Gunther, makes him back up. They tie up again. Gunther ends up leaning AJ on the corner. The referee stops and breaks him apart. Gunther gets back. He goes back, tries to go for a chop, gets reversed into a big leg kick by AJ Styles, makes Gunther walk out the ring, retreat. Gunther don't like to lead a ring, so he really feeling it if he lead a ring. He gets back into the ring though, another tie up, and then another leg kick by AJ. AJ's not playing with him, which led him retreating again. They get into a tie up again. Gunther big slams him though, and then he slams him and then starts hitting him into a rest hold chokehold. They get up from the rest hold into an arm grab situation, which lands into another leg kick, which leads to another tie up, which leads to an Irish whip. They have a sequence right there, but it ends with a big leg kick by AJ and then his big drop kick on Gunther. Gunther after the drop kick retreats to the outside again, rolls out. AJ gets on the rope on the inside, lands a big crossbody on the Gunther outside. And as he's trying to pick up Gunther, Gunther gets up, picks up AJ, throws him on the apron, and then hits him with a couple uppies, a couple uppercuts to him. And then he tries to go for the throw slam again, but this time it gets reversed on AJ while he's on the apron. He kicks him off him and then hits him with a big sliding knee, and then throws Gunther into the ring, lands with big leg kicks, but this time Gunther, out of desperation, lands a big clothesline on AJ to get him off of him. Then Gunther picks up AJ, starts to land his chops, but then it gets reversed by AJ. He starts landing his own chops on Gunther. Then Gunther Irish whips AJ into the corner, and as Gunther's trying to attack him, it gets reversed by AJ. He gets in a seated position on the top rope. He tries to punch Gunther, but they got to reverse, and then a big slapping chop to AJ, knocks him down off the rope, and that's how we get to the commercial break. We get back from the commercial break, and Gunther's landing a sequence of a big boot, a big body drop where he throws him over the top of him, and then a big clothesline. After that, Gunther lands 2 chops, but on the third chop, it gets reversed into an AJ combo, his super fast striking combo, but the combo gets stopped with a Gunther clothesline. But with the clothesline, Gunther's holding AJ. He tries to do another clothesline. He reverses out of it. AJ reverses out of it, hits the ropes. Big kick to the knee from AJ on Gunther, and then a big running elbow on the ground. Then AJ gets back on the injured leg of Gunther, hits him with multiple dragon screws, and then he hits him on the corner with a big elbow. Gunther tries to fight back though. He tries to land a punch on AJ, gets reversed into a Pele kick, and then that's when AJ lands the calf crusher on Gunther. Gunther's in agonizing pain. He's like, is he going to tap? But he finds a way to get to the rope. After Gunther grabs the rope, AJ gets on the apron, lands a standing forearm to Gunther, but that makes him lean over, and he gets stuck on the rope. He finally gets back on the rope, tries to go for the phenomenal forearm, gets big chopped by Gunther, which leads to Gunther trying to do a sleeper on AJ on the apron. The ref is counting it off, 1, 2, and at least the AJ grabbing Gunther's hurt leg and then wrenching it on the rope, which makes Gunther fall down on the floor. Then AJ pulls something insane. He does a 450 splash off the top rope, but he does a leg drop onto Gunther's leg, and he goes for the pin. That gets a 1, 2. You get a kick out of that one. Now on the other side of the ring, AJ tries to go for the phenomenal forearm again. He jumps into it. It gets reversed by Gunther. He lands into a sleeper hold, but with AJ's momentum, he wraps it over. He gets Gunther's shoulder on the ground, goes for the pin combo, but he kicks out of it. That leads to a segment of Gunther trying to punch AJ. That gets reversed into a Pele kick, but the Pele kick gets reversed, and that lands into a big clothesline by Gunther. Picks him up for a big powerbomb. 1, 2, kick out of that one. This is a crazy match. These guys were going back and forth, and now Gunther starts monologuing like every villain. He said, "You gonna slap me?" And then slap the taste out of AJ mouth on the ground, and that leads into a booyah combo of chops and AJ elbows, chops, AJ elbows. And as the sequence is going, AJ lands a calf crusher again. This time he's in the middle of the ring, but then Gunther gets out of it by grabbing AJ and slamming him multiple times repeatedly on the mat. After that, Gunther does this big dinosaur kick to AJ, picks him up for a power bomb, but it gets reversed into a calf crusher. And then in the middle of the ring, AJ's landing a calf crusher. He feels a tap by Gunther and then gets up and stops the move. And the ref is like, "What's going on? What you mean? What you doing?" He said, "Hey, he tapped. Like, what you doing?" And then the ref goes on to the timekeeper. He's like, "Hey, there was no tap. The match still is going on." And as the ref is distracted, AJ walks over to Gunther, and then Gunther hits him with a low blow to the nuts. Hits him with a power bomb. 1, 2, 3. Gunther wins. I give this match a 4 out of 5 star match. pretty fun and entertaining match. Kind of AJ still kind of looks kind of strong because like he had to get cheated to win, you know. But it makes the hate for Gunther even stronger because he had to cheat to win. But then then after that they actually show a segment, another angle where Gunther actually did tap. He did smack AJ's ass, but it was away from the ref, couldn't see, so it didn't count. So yes, that's going to be the end of that match. Gunther is on top again, and that is going to be the end of part 2 of today's episode. Uh, I can't wait to see the new matches going on in Belfast next week. It's going to be a lot of championship matches. I can't wait for that. And I give this episode, Germany's episode, I give this episode a thumbs up. You know, very entertaining. I got to watch it earlier than usual, you know, because in Germany they're doing it all live. So I'm pretty sure this episode started at 12. I watched this episode around 5 or so. So I think next week might be a better show, but we have to wait and see. But I'm Twist. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, like it, please share it, and I'm out.